Panther people, what up? It's 3 degrees Celsius here in Southern Ontario, around 37 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know why I'm not wearing this toque right now. I'll tell you why. I actually have to go to work after this, so I can't get that hat hair. It's just not going to look fresh. But if you're new here, welcome. Make sure to like, subscribe, join in the comment community. Let me know your feelings. It's a beautiful place to be. Love the dialogue back and forth, especially on that last video. The vibes were definitely a lot better than they were in the past month. 4 straight losses. It's nice to get in the W column. And now the Panthers looking to make it 2 wins in a row. This time at Bank of America Stadium against Bill Belichick and the Cam Newton-less Patriots, which should have been the Cam Newton revenge game. We'll get more to that. All right, the big story with the Panthers this year and that 4-game slide has been the fact that they've had some major players who are out with injuries. And then last week in Hotlanta, shout out to the Braves. Congratulations on your World Series. Alex Anthopoulos was a general manager for the Toronto Blue Jays. We went to the ALCS with AA at the helm. Lost to the Kansas City Royals. He eventually left. Went to the Braves. We now have the Shapiro gang, and we're doing all right here in Toronto. We have a very young squad, but shout out to Alex Anthopoulos, a Canadian general manager for the South's baseball team. So shout out to him. Shout out to the Braves. But that's about it for Atlanta teams. Okay, now when the Panthers beat the Falcons, they had some reinforcements in the fact that their Pro Bowl linebacker, Shaq Thompson, came back from that foot injury, played like a man possessed. And then they had their newly acquired cornerback, Stephon Gilmore, 2019 Defensive Player of the Year, back off the physically unable to participate or play list. And he had a pick in his first ever game as a Carolina Panther. And now they look like they're going to be getting some more reinforcements. Of course, we're all talking about Pat Elflein back on the O-line. No. Yes, he is going to be back from IR, so that might change things up for the 7th combination for this offensive line. But they played pretty well last week, so I could see Matt Rule and company maybe sticking with the O-line combination they got going on right now. So Pat Elflein maybe adding some depth. But obviously, we're talking about Christian McCaffrey, who has played almost no games since Matt Rule has been the head coach of the Carolina Panthers. But he has been designated to be activated from injured reserve. And the Panthers have 3 weeks to bring him back. And so he actually was wearing the black jersey, not the non-contact jersey that a lot of quarterbacks wear, but he was back on the field and he was participating in drills. I saw one drill that they were showing. I don't know if there's a Panthers or one of the beat writers. They did one drill where he seemed to have shown some short speed bursts, like, he was catching the ball, handing it off, and continually running, and then, speed bursting again, because that was how he injured his hamstring. He was trying to make a defender miss, tried to add in a little bit more acceleration, and then when that happens, normally this happens with really fast guys like CMC, that's when the hammy goes. Matt Rule says that he's not sure if Christian McCaffrey is going to be available for this Sunday's tilt against the New England Patriots at Bank of America Stadium. Again, they have 3 weeks to activate him from injured reserve with these hammies. Now, they gave him some extra rest. Obviously, he came back to practice 3 weeks ago. Didn't go well. There was a setback, even though they didn't really say it was a setback. So they don't want to rush him with this hammy. Again, as I mentioned, slow guys don't pull hammies or calves. Only fast guys do. And this guy hasn't practiced in weeks, so he has to get back to game speed. So personally, I don't think he's going to be ready for Sunday. I don't want to risk it. This could still be a winnable game with the running backs that they have right now in the backfield with Chuba Hubbard, Amir Abdullah, and Royce Freeman. I think that 3-headed monster could still do damage against this Patriots defense. More on that a little bit later. But the best part about all this, the fact that Matt Rule said that Christian practiced, he did what he did, and there were no setbacks. There's nothing bad that came out of it. So that is an amazing thing. We should be counting our blessings on that. Because when he is back on the team, just imagine now he's back in a backfield, in a running backs room that has way more experience now playing with the first team against first team defenses. You got him now, and you got Chuba Hubbard, who's got some serious mileage on him now. And so that 1-2 punch will force defenses to respect whoever is in the backfield. And now Amir Abdullah, who has offered an actual jolt of energy. That guy's got some serious speed. Talking about fast guys, he's got speed and quickness and great hands, and he's a smaller dude, so he's just tougher to tackle in the open field. He can hide behind some of our offensive linemen, kind of mask the fact that, they've had a bit of a rough year. Royce Freeman, I've always been a fan since they picked him up from the Denver Broncos. He's a big dude. He's a tone setter. He can really lay it down on a defense when they start getting tired late in the fourth quarter. So I think Just give Christian McCaffrey this time, okay? You know, Bill Belichick's a defensive genius. I would not want to, you know, put Christian McCaffrey out there against Bill Belichick, who has been ready to scheme up against CMC. So maybe just wait this one out. I personally would not want to rush him just for the nature of the injury itself. Sam Darnold also participated in practice, but as Matt Rule said, he was very, very limited. And he's dealing not just with the concussion. He's in the concussion protocol, but he's also now dealing with, and Matt Rule told us yesterday, as in Wednesday, that he's also dealing with a shoulder injury, all from that one hit. So not only did he get his head cocked back and he has a concussion, now the shoulder that he either got hit on or that he landed on is hurt. The concussion. Sam Darnold already makes weird decisions on his own without a concussion. Now that he does have a concussion and knowing just how long-lasting concussion effects could be, it could be weeks, it could be months. What is Sam Darnold slightly concussed going to do on the field? Will he make even worse decisions? Imagine him with more of a fog. He already processes slowly, and now you're going to add a concussion-like symptom to him. Could be long-lasting. What's he going to do on the field? Or maybe he thinks less because the brain's not working as well, and he actually just reacts to what the defense is giving him. And of course, everything I'm saying is going to be taking tongue in cheek. Obviously, head injuries and brain injuries. Because concussions, let's be real, what it is that your brain is bleeding. So I take it very seriously. But what I'm saying is, what's Sam Darnold going to be like for the rest of the year if his head just isn't right? And then if it is right, what's up with the shoulder? He already isn't chucking it down the field, really. He's not taking a lot of risks, whether that is a mind thing or not. But if his shoulder is whack, how good is he going to be on this team right now? Are they going to be? Is he going to be checked down for life for the rest of the season, for the rest of his career? I don't know. How serious is this shoulder injury? Is it a bruise? Is it a labrum tear? Is it a structural damage? Something like that? That's something we need to investigate a little bit further, and I'm sure the beat reporters will do exactly that. They did pick up a guy named Josh Love out of San Diego State. There's a photo that's been circulating around that he was training with Sam Darnold and Jordan Palmer down in Southern California. So maybe he is the carbon copy of Sam Darnold. Why would one want that? But it looks like PJ Walker is going to be the guy. Now, I just realized that PJ, I know stands for Phil, but he's a Team Philip with 2 L's? What? So am I. So already, anywhere's number 6. I'm from the 6. So PJ Walker, I think he's destined for great things. Not only is the fact that, we share the same spelling of our name and his number and all that jazz, despite the fact that the last 2 games that he has been put in, he's made some questionable decisions, but trying to force plays, kind of like a Sam Darnold, and Matt Rule and PJ talked about that. But the fact that when he has played for the Panthers, it has been without Christian McCaffrey. I know I said that Christian McCaffrey should not be playing on Sunday, but he's not 110% ready. But what if he is? What's PJ Walker going to look like with that type of reinforcement there, that security blanket that you can have a dump-off pass to Christian McCaffrey so you're not forced to force plays, throw across your body in the end zone, potentially throw a pick at the worst time possible? Maybe PJ Walker could be the long-term answer. I don't know, at least for this season. Because right now, with Sam Darnold in his head, I'm not trusting much. PJ Walker, hey, if you got Christian McCaffrey, it can make a lot of people look decent. Look what it did to Sam Darnold the first 2 weeks. Made him look like, that Scott Fitterer made a good decision trading all those picks. Now, Aaron Rodgers seems to be the face of the anti-vax club. Now, you can say what you want about vaccinations and all that jazz, but the NFL does have their rules. And right now, according to the NFL, if you are unvaccinated, there are certain rules you have to follow. And it appears Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers have not been following those rules. Back in August, Aaron Rodgers was asked, hey, everyone's getting vaccinated, COVID, pandemic, that whole situation. The NFL has put out rules there that teams could potentially forfeit games and lose game checks, that if there is an outbreak. So are you vaccinated? This is what Aaron Rodgers said.
Vaccinated, and what's your stance on vaccinations?
Yeah, I've been immunized.
So he's immunized, not vaccinated, but immunized. Now, immunized is another word for I'm protected, which if you are vaccinated, you would then be immunized in case you were to get COVID. Now, we have learned through Ian Rappaport that Aaron Rodgers has not received the vaccine. He is completely unvaccinated. He instead saw a naturopath or a homeopathic type doctor who did something that he says boosted his antibody levels. These are the things that fight the virus. And they boosted his antibody levels in anticipation that he were to get COVID at some point in his life, his body would be prepared to fight it off. However, as science has shown, that the vaccine does lower your chances of getting COVID. And so he has not had the vaccine. He now has COVID. And he is on the COVID list. And since he is unvaccinated and he's got it, I think he has to sit out 10 games or 10 days. And he right now is being, he is in the ire of many people. Many people. Not just fans, but, reporters as well. I've seen some people say that he should be suspended for the rest of the year. And the Packers should be fined millions of dollars and fined several draft picks because not only did they know about this, they treated him as if he was fully vaccinated, meaning he didn't wear a mask when he was doing in-person interviews with reporters. There are some teams out there, what I understand, if you have unvaccinated players, they have to wear a mask if they're indoors for in-person interviews, or they had Zoom interviews in a separate room, or they're all held outside, because outside is always going to be better than inside. Packers did none of that stuff. What I'm asking, not comparing the issues, but both quarterbacks are gigantic distractions. Who would you rather the Panthers pick up? Would you want them to pick up Deshaun Watson? Knowing what we know, even though it has been proven in court with Deshaun Watson. Or would you want Aaron Rodgers, who clearly did a very selfish thing during a pandemic? He is definitely that guy. He's already hosted Jeopardy, who thinks that he is the smartest guy in the room. And he thought he can get away with this because he is Aaron Rodgers. Who would you want on your team? Deshaun Watson? Or would you want Aaron Rodgers? Let me know in the comment community below. No judgment. Enough hypotheticals. Let's talk about this Sunday. An actual football game that's going to be going on with no Deshaun Watson or Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson, but P.J. freaking Walker, most likely as a starter for the Panthers against New England Patriots. This is their first matchup in the Matt Rule era. It's going to be at Bank of America Stadium after that 4-game losing streak, a bunch of those games happening at home with opposing fans just filling stands, hopefully. Now, I'm not there. I wish I was there. I'm living vicariously through you guys. Hopefully, Panther fans show up to the bank and just limit the amount of Patriots fans because, gosh, mass holes are the absolute worst, especially when they win. They're terrible, terrible winners. So, hopefully, Panther fans flock to this game. We already know Bill Belichick is arguably the greatest coach of all time, and one of his specialties is messing up rookie quarterbacks. So not only is he facing a guy in P.J. Walker, who I know is not a rookie, but he's not an everyday starter, but he's also facing Joe Brady, who is in his second year as an offensive coordinator. He's never been an offensive coordinator before, and he's going to be up against arguably the greatest defensive minds in football. And we've seen that Joe Brady has a bit of a tough time in real time adjusting to in-game strategy changes on the defensive side. He doesn't know what to do, or it seems like he doesn't know what to do. Speaking of the Patriots defense, they made young quarterback phenom Justin Herbert when the Los Angeles Chargers look kind of human. He's been on a tear recently with people saying that he may have been a better pick than Joe Burrow, but Justin Herbert looked somewhat pedestrian against the New England Patriots. They had that pick six that kind of sealed the deal in that win that brought them to 500. However, they could get run on. Kind of like the Panthers defense at times, but they could get run on. They had 120 yards rushed on them 5 times already this season. So I feel like with that 3-headed monster of Chuba Hubbard, Amir Abdullah in the screen game, as well as Royce Freeman, if they just the Panthers commit to what they did last week and not try to get too cute, did not try to get too bored of the running game and actually commit and believe in that philosophy that they should be running around 40 times a game or so. 47 was the 4th most time in franchise history that they produced last week. So if they just continue to trust and run the ball, I feel like they'll wear this defense down the same way they did the Atlanta Falcons, and that will carry them to victory. And as I mentioned before, same thing with Sam Darnold. If they could just limit the amount of times that P.J. Walker has to be asked to make a play in the air, because we just haven't seen that much of him doing such things, especially against a defense that has been pretty stout as of late. Again, as I mentioned, made Justin Herbert, who is arguably, according to some people, one of the better quarterbacks in the league, look kind of normal. What would they do to somebody like P.J. Walker, who has very limited experience as a starter in the NFL? Though the Patriots defense, as kind of stout as they've been, they're kind of missing a pretty important piece that just so happens to be playing for the Carolina Panthers right now, and that's Stephon Gilmore. And he talked to the media yesterday, and he opened up Pandora's box a little bit, saying he wasn't too pleased on how he was treated injury-wise by his former team. As good as Bill Belichick is against rookie quarterbacks all time, the Panthers defense this year has made life pretty miserable for rookie quarterbacks. The Panthers are 2-0 against first-year starters, and now they face arguably the best rookie quarterback in last year's draft class in Mac Jones out of Alabama. He has definitely turned it on. He is kind of getting the NFL, getting the speed. He's been doing pretty well out there. And also, I mentioned during draft season, a lot of people out there, a lot of draft analysts were saying that Mac Jones could be the best quarterback out of this rookie draft class who could play right now, contribute right now to a team. The Panthers, in a way, he was in the Senior Bowl with Matt Rule coaching him directly. A lot of fans out there with the idea of drafting Mac Jones weren't too excited because he's not a very exciting player. He's a bro. He's a super fun guy. I'd love to have a couple beers with him because I know he would pound beers. But I know people were more in the camp of a Trey Lance or a Justin Fields. But having Mac Jones as a quarterback for the Carolina Panthers, you could say right now, would be an upgrade to both Sam Darnold and PJ Walker. So if you were to ask Carolina Panther fans right now, who would you rather have in Sunday's matchup as the guy under center to try to win you a game with 2 minutes left to go? Would you rather have Mac Jones? Would you rather have PJ Walker, who is most likely going to be the starter? You're most likely going to say Mac Jones. But besides all that, I feel like the Panthers defense will give him headaches. I think Phil Snow and the Snow Patrol are going to make things confusing for him the same way he did for the other two rookie quarterbacks. And I feel like Stephon Gilmore, dude only allowed Kyle Pitts 1 catch and 13 yards. He had more penalty yardage against him with Stephon Gilmore and Keith Taylor on him than he actually had offensive yardage plays. And Stephon Gilmore, as we all know, had a pick in his first game as a Carolina Panther. I feel like he's going to continue that trend. He knows this Patriots offense. He knows Mac Jones's tendencies. I'm sure he's watched him in practice and see what he likes, what he doesn't like to make, what he likes to see, what he doesn't like to see in a defense. So I feel like he's going to make his life pretty difficult. They have the edge, I believe, on defense against the New England Patriots offense. With the rookie quarterback in Mac Jones, I feel like Phil Snow is going to make his life difficult. In terms of passing availability, I feel like the defensive backfield could shut that down, especially if you add in the Stephon Gilmore revenge game that we got going on and the play of Keith Taylor and Dante Jackson once he's 100% healthy. And I also feel like the Panthers defense can shut down the run game. Damian Harris, I feel like, is not going to be an issue for our defensive line, especially our linebacker core with Shaq Thompson and Jermaine Carter, as well as, I love Frankie Louvu. That guy runs around like a man on fire. Like, not just hair on fire. He is completely on fire. He's full gasoline. Light him up. He is good to go. I love his tenacity. It's all going to be on the Panthers offense yet again. It's going to be on PJ Walker to not make mistakes. I have my hopes set medium to high for him. I'm 6.5 out of 10 confident that PJ Walker is going to pull this one out. And I think he's going to not make mistakes and just follow the game plan. Hand it off to Chuba. Pass it to Amir. Hand it to Royce, and then when things get open, DJ Moore, who Bill Belichick said is a serious problem, and he's a great wide receiver, one of the better wide receivers in this league. If they can somehow get the Patriots defense to hone in on the running game, maybe Amir Abdullah and his ability in the screen game can maybe take some attention away from DJ Moore. Maybe Robbie Anderson in his days in the AFC East as a Jet, maybe he finds an opening. Not too shook up from last week's big hit that knocked the air out of him against the Atlanta Falcons. Maybe he comes out and plays in front of a home crowd. They've been waiting. They have been waiting for him to do something. After game 1, he scored that 1 touchdown against the Jets. It'd be nice if he, scored a couple more. I feel like the Panthers are going to win their second game in a row. I know last week I did the reverse psychology, said they're going to lose. Hopefully they actually prove me wrong. I am hoping that they win, and they hope they prove me right. I think the Panthers are going to win 24-20. Let me know what you think in the comment community. It's a beautiful place to be. If you're new here, like, subscribe, spread the word. I'll see you guys on Sunday. Win or lose, we're going to be here. Talk to you then.